Hello, and welcome back to Budget Modern. Today we'll be covering a deck that I've titled Riley's Angels. A few days ago, my good friend Riley asked me to build him a blue-white angel deck for under $50, and so here it is for you. We're running a total of 16 creatures, 20 spells, and 24 lands. The lands we'll be running are 4 Evolving Wilds, 5 islands, 7 plains, 4 prairie streams, and 4 tranquil coves. Next up, we'll move on to our creature base. First up, we got 4 copies of Angelic Page. Nice early game 1/1 flyer that in mid to late game you can tap it to boost one of your other angels. Then we've got 3 copies of Lightkeeper of Emeria. It's a really good angel with the single white multi-kicker to be able to gain 2 life for each time it was kicked. Then we've got 3 copies of Seraph of the Sword. This creature here works as an excellent blocker due to the fact that it prevents all combat damage that would be dealt to it. So it can work as a nice attacker, but even better as a blocker. Then we're running 3 copies of Emeria Angel. She's another nice flying creature that also has the added benefit of her landfall effect to produce you bird tokens that are 1/1 white birds with flying. So every time you play a land, you'll be producing more tokens, so you have either more attackers or more blockers, and keeping with the nice theme of every creature in the deck having flying. And for our final creature in the deck, also my opinion, most important creature, is 3 copies of an Archangel of Tithes. It's a flying 3/5 angel that, as long as it's untapped, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 mana for each of those creatures. And as long as Archangel of Tithes is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 generic mana for each of those creatures. So this here really makes it a little more difficult for your opponents to be able to attack you or block you. And then we'll move on to our spells in the deck. Running 4 copies of Clash of Wills. Good counterspell, especially if your opponent taps out in mana to play 1 spell. You'd only have to pay 1 additional mana for this, and they couldn't pay the mana to keep it from being countered. Then we're running 4 copies of Condescend. Just like Clash of Wills, but it has a very nice added benefit of getting to Scry 2. Following that, we have 3 copies of Calculated Dismissal. It's similar to the others, but it's a total of 3 casting cost, and counters the spell unless its controller can pay 3, but it does have Spell Mastery, so if that's triggered, you get to Scry 2, which is a very nice benefit. Then we've got 3 copies of Convolute. Counters the spell unless its controller pays 4. And then we've got 3 copies of Deny Existence, which counters the spell, and if it's countered, the card gets exiled instead of being put into the graveyard. Great for some of the Eldrazi that are around. And finally, we have 3 copies of Frightful Delusion. It's another nice counter spell that counters the spell unless its controller pays 1, and the player that spell got countered has to discard a card. I love counter spells that have an added benefit to them aside from just countering the spell. I believe that this deck should be pretty fun and run pretty smoothly, and currently you can pick up this entire deck for $45.61 off of tcgplayer.com. I highly recommend you trying it out, and if you like it, leave me a comment below. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button to stay up to date on our most recent videos. We'll see you next time.